Today, we're going to talk about the beginning. Where did all this come from?
You know what? Let's talk about that.
I'm Hampton Skurlock.
I'm Milton Ali, and we want to welcome you to the Investor Tribe podcast.
Late night grind, got the cash in the flow. Flipping these dreams with the portfolio grow. Brick by brick, stacking wealth in the zone. Investor Tribe, OBS, where the hustle is home.
Brought to you by our founding sponsor. We've got Kentucky Private Lending. You can check them out at kentuckypl.com. Hard money loans, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, some other states coming soon. So we're so glad to have them on board, and we're going to talk about how we started the podcast, where it came from, all the relationships we built, all the people we've taught and helped, and it's kind of a special episode.
Every hero, such as myself.
Where's your cape? Where's your cape?
And so we do have, Eric, who's Captain Save Alone.
Save Alone?
Yes.
Save a deal.
Save a deal. Captain Save a deal.
Fund a deal. Fund a deal.
Fund a deal. Save a deal. So every hero has an origin story. You know, we're not going to get into the comics. I didn't read comics growing up, but I did see all the movies. And they all have origin stories.
They do. A lot of times it involves getting bit by an arachnid or nuclear waste or somebody you bullied as a child. There's some origin story, but
there's some origin story. Right? We're going to talk about the tribe's origin story today, which all the players are in the building. So we have Bespoke Marketing is in the building. So
hey,
those guys they're always off the camera, but shout out to Bespoke Marketing for making this thing happen and for them being in the background, and especially Aaron. Aaron's the linchpin,
yes, indeed,
of the entire operation.
And Drew's here too.
And Drew's here too.
Even we don't want to be.
I'm just here.
He's here too.
He's working hard for us.
Right.
Promoting these videos, coming up with ideas.
Coming up with all this kind of stuff. So today's podcast is actually one that's really special and near and dear to our heart. We got Eric Payne in the building with us, and this story, we're going to just go back to how all this began. So we've been doing this for over a year now. Can you believe that?
Crazy.
Over a year. Just a podcast. You even said you didn't even think you were going to make it.
Hold on. I had faith in you.
Okay.
I didn't know it was going to.
Now the story is changing.
See, now the story is changing. He says something.
He's turning red.
He just said He just said a couple months ago. He was like, you know what? I don't even know if you guys are gonna be around next year.
We had humble beginnings as podcasters.
Very humble beginnings.
Not knowing what we're getting into or what the costs and the production and what all was entailed in delivering a quality podcast. I hate to say we were winging it, but we just started. We didn't know any better. We just got started, and it wasn't perfection. It was trying to constantly make progress. It wasn't immediate perfection.
I definitely agree with that.
You know how you say, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. In this case, it was don't wait to make a podcast. Make a podcast and wait.
That's right.
Just do it. Yes.
Just do it. And you know what was super cool is that I didn't realize. So when we first began, Drew would say, "Hey, Milton, you have a lot to say," and that's true. He was like, if Hampton, if you can just share more, because you actually know what you're talking about. Milton has a lot to say, just doesn't know what he's talking about. No. Hampton knows what he's talking about, but just doesn't have much to say. And so, but that's almost changed over the past year.
It probably has. I think the shock collars he wrapped around our legs, trained us a bit. So when you wouldn't shut up and I wouldn't talk, he'd give us a 50,000 volt jolt or whatever it was.
It was whatever it was, but if you ever heard those glitches that were on our pod, just know it was a shock collar.
Yeah, and I didn't have any gray hair in this beard until he started doing the shock. Just this one little yes, it's aged me. But we probably do.
I've always had gray hair for this. I started off with gray.
Real estate ages you or can age you.
It does. It does age you a lot.
And that reminds me, we need to replace the shock collar batteries.
No.
You'll be off the hook today.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
We've made a lot of upgrades. We don't need to upgrade that. So
yeah. So
bigger, better, stronger. No.
But I really think that they want to know the origin story. and how you're part of a tribe. So if you're watching this, you've been a part of a tribe. You've been coming to our meetups. You're on the website. You're learning about. You already know about Kentucky Private Lending in some cases. You know about me in Hampton. You know about what we do, our meetups, the courses that you've been learning on the website. But some of you don't even know how this came about. So we kind of want to get into a little bit of that.
And I'll kind of start because it goes back a ways, way back when. This is probably 15 years ago, almost, when we started doing, actually probably 12 plus years ago. Started doing the real estate meetups.
That's right.
And I had a friend and partner. He had passed, and anytime anyone asked either of us, "Hey, you want to talk real estate?" or "Hey, I want to bend your ear. I want to ask you a few questions. I want to learn about this," we would always say yes. If anybody wanted to talk real estate, we'd say yes. So we try to schedule for lunches. And my neighbor asked me one day, "Hey, I want to learn about this real estate. Can I take you out for lunch? I want to bend your ear." I said yes, but I looked at my calendar. I was a month plus out. I had no available lunch dates, and it's tough to run a business, do flips, look at houses, and take a break in the middle of the day to go have lunch with somebody after you may have been working on a property or going through a smelly house, or you don't know what, you can have cobwebs, as you're going through these vacant houses on you. So we'd always say yes. My neighbor wanted to get into real estate, and he thought I was dodging him because I said, "Hey, I can't have lunch with you for a month." He goes, "No, I really want to learn this. I want to do it now." He's real pushy. He's in car sales, and I was like, "Man, dude, I can't. I'm not going to bump somebody."
Is that Chris?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
shout out to Chris.
Yeah,
but
they're great. No,
he does not take no for an answer.
I bought a couple cars from him. He's very good.
Yeah.
But so I told my neighbor, I said, maybe somebody's a cancellation. He's like, "Man, I'm like your backup," and he said, "Why don't you just get a bunch of us together at once?" So I said, "That's probably a good idea. That probably would make sense because then I would have to." A lot of times I was buying the lunches anyways because it was what I would do. And I said, "Okay, we'll get a bunch of people together. Because that'd be great because people are asking the same questions a lot of times, and it would be more efficient use of time." He's like, "Yeah, and they may have questions that I don't have, and I may have questions that they don't have. We all learn from each other." And so I told my buddy Todd about this. And he goes, "That's great. We didn't know where we're going to do it or when we're going to do it. We just picked like a Wednesday at Arby's because it was close and they had a $1 menu and a happy hour deals at that time. So we met there. There's probably 15 people at the first meeting.
Arby's.
Yeah, hey, $2 deals, dollar deals. We're investing.
I don't know how happy a happy hour at Arby's could be.
Arby's would be. Yeah, I don't know, but
have you had
they
the curly
found
fries?
a way. They found a way to do it. Yeah.
Who's vegetarian, but the curly fries are great.
Right.
So we started meeting with about 15 people. We met, a lot of questions were answered. We brought some documents. We shared our phone numbers, answered a lot of questions, a lot of the how do you get started, what'd you do, what'd you mess up on, what should I do, how do I get funding, common questions that come up. We were trying to educate people, answer questions, and we got done. Everybody was happy, felt good. Took a little over an hour. They said, "That's great. Let's go find houses, or let's do it next week." Like, okay, yeah, bring a friend that wants to learn about real estate. So we started doing a meetup every week for years and years and years until COVID hit. And so it was always a free meetup, always trying to help educate people and help. And my friend said, when you make it to the top of the mountain, because it's easy to reach back and help somebody else up, lift your arm out, help reach them up, lift them up with you. So
that's how I got exposed. Right. So I would go to the meeting. By that time, you guys leveled up. This is probably fast forward about 5 years. A level up. I get in the business. I call you all the time. And I was one of those people. I was like, "Hey, I'm calling. You were like, "Hey, can you join CREA?" And which is the Kentuckiana Real Estate Investors Association. And they were like, "Hey, you can do that, but you can also just meet us here at lunch. We're at the country club." I forgot the name of the country club back then, but
it was the Woodhaven one. Todd had a membership there. I'm too cheap to have a membership, but he had one.
So he had a membership. So we were there, and it was super cool. So I would join along, and I would just go to these meetings. There's a lot of people that are really doing amazing things that would show up to these meetings, and they were all learning, sitting at the table. Well, tables like we had. It was like 40, 50 people at one time. It was like 60, 70 people at some of these lunches some weeks. It was insane. It was insane. It was super cool. So then Now I think, does my part of the story pick up, or
sure,
is that more? Or
is that shock collar on? Do you need to shock him? Somebody else need to talk now? We need to get Eric in talking here for a bit. So.
Well, no, Eric comes in.
This is your warning.
Eric comes in a little bit after that part.
That's right.
So
Yep.
Eric comes in probably, I would say, 3 years after that. So around 2020-ish, probably around 2020-ish, you guys had a closing together. Is that correct?
A big closing, lots of houses, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of documents.
That
Lots
would have
of.
been like 2022,
One?
I think. 'Cause
2021
it was our
or 2020.
first year in business. Yeah. And
Okay.
a client of ours was buying like 11 properties or something like that.
Okay.
And so we got to have a long time at the closing table and getting to know each other. Following your all's timeline, I didn't get plugged in until it was roosters. So I don't know where that.
That was
post-COVID.
That was post-COVID. Yeah. And so, but as far as because there is branches of the story, right? So there's the meetup origin part of it. Then there was our part of it and how all that started to come together.
Mm-hmm.
But
In the flip study class.
Yes, with all that. So, and so you made an introduction because at the time, I think I called you and I said, man, I need a different option for hard money, man, because it's just whatever I was going through at the time, it just wasn't working, right? And I think I was trying to buy one of your houses, and so you said, well, hey, man, I met this cool guy, Eric, at Borders. I think y'all should talk. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So I called him, and so we were talking, and we didn't do a deal right away.
Mm-mm.
But I think I was just asking you a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, I thought I must have just totally blown the call because I remember we were talking one evening and I've got like my newborn baby at home.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's right.
So I stepped outside and I'm just walking around my backyard talking to you and I'm like, yeah, that was a good guy, good conversation. But you're right, we didn't do the deal. So I'm like, oh man, I guess he didn't like me. I guess he didn't like what I do. I thought I blew it, but then of course, the rest was history after that.
Done a lot of deals since then.
So yeah, we done lots of deals since then, but let's kind of talk about what happened. So we started doing a few deals together, but simultaneously, I am doing buyer consultations. I'm a real estate agent full-time, and I'm doing buyer consultations. I do buyer consultations, or what we call listing presentations when I talk with sellers, or I do, investor consultations when I'm working with investors. So at that time, investing was probably about close to a third of my business, which it is today, roughly a little over a third now, but back then it was about a quarter to about a third of my business. So I'm doing investor consultations. These investor consultations laid out the complete process of what you need to do to be an investor and to consider getting into real estate investing, right? So these courses were about, not courses, but literally the consultation was almost an hour and a half. So I'm sitting in there. I said, look, you need to block out some time because I'm going to go. And I did it all from paper. I just literally wrote it down all from paper. And I was able to explain it. And shout out to Wendy Cosby. So years ago, I met Wendy Cosby, and she broke down the ideal investor for me, and it was all on paper. She just did it all from paper. So that was an inspiration for me to do it from paper. I was like, oh, okay. So because if you can't explain it from paper, it's kind of hard for you to, not with 25 documents. We're talking, I think she had like 3 pages. So I was like, okay, great. So I'll do that with my 3 pages. So I started just breaking it all down, but it was still an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So then they would leave and be like, oh, my brain is fried. But I think I should start investing in real estate. So we'll start having people do that. And then I was like, well, I would love to have someone that had my passion, that wants to break it down just like I would, but even deeper. So I can focus not on the math of all the transaction, but that I can focus on finding the flip and have someone else focus on the funding and helping them understand the money. Enter Kentucky Private Lending.
Right. Yep.
So those conversations did help because I kept calling back and I said, hey man, can you do this? Can you meet with me? And can you meet with me? And we kept having, so now me and you are in these, you know, we were able to go from an hour and a half to about maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Because you was like, look, I don't have an hour. I don't have 2 hours, bro.
Well, I think it's interesting going through this with you guys, because I think it's the same journey that Hampton was describing, where it was like, this is great, and we both hit it off, because I think the way you put it, we have a heart of a teacher, and it was we both enjoyed sitting down with people and explaining things and getting into it. But then we ran into what Hampton was talking about, where, well, now if I got these one-off meetings stacked up, then the time disappears really quickly. So then that, you know, it's kind of interesting hearing you both talk about it and thinking back that was a common thread, that it was like, this is great and it's helping people. Let's find a better way to do it.
Find a more efficient way to help people.
Right. So, and so then what we did was, then I said, well, how about I just do like a 2-hour thing and we'll invite a bunch of people. So we did that. And we didn't call it Flip Savvy. I think it was called like how to buy your first real estate.
How to find and fund your first flip.
That's right.
You should have talked to Bespoke Marketing. They would have come up with a good acronym for
about
you.
how to do that, right? And so we had this course, and it was, I think, an hour to 2 hours. Just like, but it was basically an investor consultation broken down, and it was mainly for real estate investors, because part of that was to introduce you to more agents. I said, well, hey, let's just introduce you to more agents. Let's have this. So we did it the first time, where I think you brought a bottle of bourbon. you know, it was kind of it, right? Yeah. You were bringing a bottle of bourbon.
Not to drink, but it was a giveaway.
Not to drink, even though we should have.
Good point of clarification.
And so, thank you. And so,
you sure it wasn't to make things a little more relaxing as the hours went on?
Right.
Well,
that's when the really good deals.
That's when the really good deal. And so what we ended up doing was Hampton would join us for those, and he has a company, IRA Lend, and he talked about how to get people to lend out of their IRAs and other instruments. And so we would have a good time. And we had a few other people. Mike DeVito would show up, and we had a few other people that would just kind of all gather together, and we would just get together and we would have courses. Well, the 2 hours, they said, well, this is great. Can you give us more?
Yeah. I remember there'd be so many questions, and we were trying to keep on schedule and move to the next. And I think that's when you were like, this has got to be longer. So we went to about a 3 hour. It was almost a half day. And I think you brought 2 bottles of bourbon. Yeah.
And so it was like a half day, and somebody brought lunch, and it was just so cool. We're just all hanging out and we're learning. And somebody was like, well, we need a little bit more. And I was like, well, this needs to be all day. And so I was like, it needs to be all day. Y'all need to pay. And they're like, okay. I was like, well, all right then. Let's start. And then Flip Savvy was born. Right. Because it was born from the material and the questions. So really, all the 100 plus people that took Flip Savvy, can you believe that?
Right.
Over 100 people went through Flip Savvy in different iterations. And then I started printing out these professional looking books. Then me and you were just like, okay, well now let's kind of really make this a really cool thing, where we just started going over. And then last year, what we started doing was teaching the classes over and over again for about a 4-month, a 5-month period, just all day. Had different people in the classes, different people that graduated out of that course. And then we, and you would do like 1/4 of that entire class. I hope we didn't. I hope that wasn't too much for you.
No.
Okay.
I was happy to do it, but yeah, we did figure out. I guess the guy that shows up talking about lending money, then all of a sudden there's a lot of questions and a lot of carve out some time there. Yeah.
So we did, and so we got better, and it was super fun. I mean, being able, and then it kind of brings you back in, because you were part of the Flip Savvy. You were doing some of these. You would come up, and me and you, and then I don't know who had the wild idea that we actually start a podcast.
Well, I think I suggested I got this Facebook group that had 1,000+ people.
Well, yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. Yes,
just grown organically, and it was free group from all the meetups and people that wanted to learn and get involved with investing. I was like, and after my buddy had passed away, it's like, gosh, it's tough to run by myself, and I want to find a more efficient way to reach these people and record some videos. And then I thought it was you or what exactly came up, like podcasts seem to be the answer to have videos, people answer questions, interview guests, build a network and have it where it could be replayed for people, and then being able to offer the classes, your classes.
Yeah, because we would talk about Investor Tribe as part of the classes. Later on, we started. Well, I think from the beginning we were talking about Investor Tribe. The podcast was in its infancy from a planning standpoint. What made things so cool was we were doing all this. Me and you were talking about having a podcast. We talked about co-opting the Facebook group because because shout out to Verl Bryce, who said, hey man, you're doing all these cool things. Why don't you need a tribe? You need a tribe. So because you need a tribe, I was like, man, that's a great idea. He was like, work amongst your tribe. Once you find a tribe of people that you can work with, that you can do your thing, you can really be successful. And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right, because you do need a tribe. And so I think that was super cool.
Yep. No doubt.
And then we've got the podcast going, eventually getting it, off the ground and better, and having Drew and Aaron, help with that immensely. Because we wanted to do a podcast, but we didn't know what went into it.
Yeah.
And all the equipment you had to buy, and backdrops and equipment and cameras and audio but fortunately we found somebody that's a bit younger and more tech savvy.
And who owns an entire marketing company, and so that was super helpful. So clearly we didn't know what we were doing, but Drew does, and Drew, Cooking Master, who owns
Bespoke Marketing,
and they've been and they're also another founding sponsor. So we're kind of here with two of our founding sponsors, mainly because you wouldn't have an Investor Tribe without these two companies here, and that's why they're kind of here. And Drew is in the background, so you never see him, and Aaron is the linchpin that holds everything together. He's super amazing.
He doesn't talk a whole lot.
Doesn't talk at all.
We got to get one more shot caller. Next time we put in the shot caller order, get one for Aaron.
That's right.
And for those of you that haven't seen Drew, we'll put the AI picture up.
No, please do not.
He kind of looks like Brad Pitt.
That's exactly what I look like. I look exactly like Brad Pitt.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well,
we'll let
that's a different podcast.
The viewers be the judge of that. Please comment below.
Comment below if you think he looks like Brad Pitt.
I think at the time when we started, I was doing
male modeling.
I was. No. Oh my gosh!
Brad
all right,
looks like
that's not the direction I was gonna go. I think we were doing marketing for Marketplace on Main Street, and you came to me one of the days, and you said, "Can you do podcasts?" And sure, we can do podcasts. What are you wanting to do? And you're kind of vague, and you're like, "I've got a meeting set up with you, and we're gonna do podcasts." And so I came in was as prepared as I could be, but I was like, all right, whatever is coming, I'm here to pitch.
Yeah,
we made it happen.
Because when he shared the idea with me, I was like, well, of course it's a cool idea. Let's kind of do this. So I was like, I thought it was a no-brainer. At the same time, I think I shared a little bit of skepticism like you did, as far as like, man, everybody has a podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody is just and then even when you were on our podcast, so shout out to everybody that we kind of bummed on their own couch. So we're hanging out with. So our podcast started at Jordan Pone's office,
Jordan,
right? Yep. Jordan Pone's office, and then he kicked us out. I think
well, they needed space, and
they needed space. They kicked us out. So Jordan, we love you, man, but you kicked us out. But then
he's been on the podcast.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast. He's great. He's great. Yeah. It's so but then Renee Buster. We were at her office for several months, and we are grateful for Renee. And then we're just like, okay, you know what, putting together, and that's when we started the new setup. But then we had to break it down. We came in, we painted wood, we bought wood.
She let us take over her space inside for a day, and then when we're done, we kind of unpack everything and put it in a closet. Which is tough with equipment and lights and backdrops and soundproofing. And so it's like, we probably need our own space that we could personalize and leave it up permanently and do the soundproofing and do it right. And Milton found a place, made it happen. So now what you see is
now what we have.
And I actually want to take a moment to apologize, because there's a missing episode or two from the Investor Tribe podcast that probably will never air.
You went to Hollywood on us.
No.
Hollywood Drew.
Nope. I won't let you take the fall. I won't let you take the fall, even though that is what happened. I won't let you totally take the fall. We have several episodes that will never air. We had
they came back and
we
reshot.
may need to cut this out, but we had somebody high on our pod.
Oh,
we had somebody use
before we did the drug testing.
Before we did,
that reminds me, Eric. I hope you drink a lot of water before you left.
Yeah.
And don't drink the lemonade in that cup.
Don't drink the lemonade. So. Right. So we've had, oh my gosh,
just
we
one.
Did have one. We had really one guest that we had to cut out like 50% of the
Swore
pod.
like a sailor.
Oh my gosh, it was just insane.
Great content, but a lot of not suitable for the whole family. Content, a lot of
not safe
cussing.
for work content.
Yeah.
So we cut that. I was literally looking at Drew like. And he was like, "Oh, dude, I've already turned it off. Like the equipment is just off. My computer's off. See,
these are dummy cameras at this point.
Right. These are just dummy cameras. I don't know what you.
But we edited it and got the content. And
we did get the content. And
it was just
really
a lot shorter than we thought it was going to be, because it was a lot of good stuff.
It was a lot of content, and so
cut out the F-bombs.
Right, and so we had a lot of fun, and that was when you first had joined us. You came in for a podcast episode.
Yep.
And what was so cool about that was it was just we're having conversations with people that we already have a relationship with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So it was just natural talking to you, and it was almost like we're getting coffee or something like that. And that's what kind of made it. How was was that your first ever podcast?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Be honest.
What's that now?
Be honest.
Oh, hey, you know me. You know me. Yeah, I was going to say that was my podcast debut, if you will. I'd never done anything like that. So I was kind of walking in blind, didn't know what to think. I won't dispute my initial reaction, because I'm sure he could pull up the clip and embarrass me if I want to. But again, we're being real here. I just thought everybody's got a podcast. Like, let's go see what happens. A big key to that, though, was, if I'm not mistaken, when you all introduced me to Drew, he was like producing a movie in Hollywood or something like that. So I'm like, okay, even if I'm terrible, this guy can make it look decent. So yeah, it was. I was a little unsure walking in, but to your point, since we know each other so well and talk often, I remember afterward walking out, and I was kind of like, what did I even say on that podcast? But I think that was a good thing, because it meant we were just talking. You
didn't have to think about it. It's just conversation.
I wasn't like thinking of question, answer. We were just shooting the breeze. So that was really good. And even in spite of me being one of the first guests, look what y'all accomplished and grown this into.
Well, you don't have to worry, because we shoot several of these a month, and right after it, I think to myself, what did we say?
Like, what was the whole thing? Well, to his point, it's a blur sometimes, because he's right. We do batch a lot of our episodes, so yes, we go live, and we're going live twice a week. in this next year, and you're going to love it because we're going to be doing a lot more. We're going to be going on twice a week. We're also doing another couple of shows that are coming up. You're going to see way more of us. You're going to see way more of Eric. He is actually, he co-teaches Flip Savvy with me. And I think that there will just be a lot of opportunity for people to get to know who you guys are and what you provide for our investors here in the tribe.
Yep.
Right.
We'll have to get them to record a video or two on the library on, when and how to use hard money, or take some excerpts.
Oh, well, that's already in the can.
Works. Okay,
that's
good,
already in
good.
the can.
Okay.
And so we've because we got a lot of cool things here, and so they can find us first. If you haven't become a member by now, join by going to INV Tribe and set up your profile. It's very, very easy. You can go to invtribe.com and set up your profile. Once there, then you can join various communities, whether you are an investor, whether you're an agent, whether you're looking to buy and hold or do short-term rentals or house hack. No matter what your jam is, no matter what your investment thesis is, you can join us on invtribe.com. You can also find us on all the socials at invtribe, right? So we're on YouTube, Facebook,
Instagram,
all that. And so more importantly, go to invtribe.com. And also, you can always find us on anywhere where you find podcasts, because we are now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all that.
And you can find Eric at www.kentuckypl.com.
That's right.
So for all your hard money loan needs in Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and maybe some other states coming soon. But gosh, do we have any failures? And it's not always roses and rainbows, but we did have a failure
with our podcast.
When Drew went to Hollywood on us, and we
he did. He went Hollywood on us,
I'm so
and
sorry.
like literally
trying to do the
sorry.
camera work ourselves.
Oh, that was crazy. We had a full day too, and I was just, I'm not going to front. I was a little upset because we had all of our sponsors lined up. Mm-hmm. Like, we had a full day of sponsors.
It was
the
really
first
bad
day
timing.
we ever had a full day of sponsors lined up. And it was just like sponsor after sponsor after sponsor after sponsor after sponsor. And then he decides, he hits us up like on a Saturday.
I'm still in Hollywood.
Or a Sunday. He's like, oh yeah, I'm still in Hollywood, man. They asked me to stay a couple extra days. Because he pitches movies. He's big time, okay?
I set it up for you guys. You guys just probably got to push the button and charge this.
Right.
It'll be
Yes,
easy.
it'll be easy. And then come to find out he returns in town. Not only was the camera just, I think Hampton broke it.
I
And
pushed
so
the button that made the whole screen turn pink in pixel. I don't know what I did.
That's
Yeah,
still
it was
not
crazy.
I
fixed.
think it just
It was definitely
It
crazy.
lived its best life up to that point. We didn't
Right.
drop it. We just pushed the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we shot we thought we shot 5 episodes. So we were just all sitting down, just kind of just went through the entire motion and got
Recorded
very
everything.
little
It was
of it.
good. No, we got was audio. The video was pink for one of the cameras for the whole
It was
day.
terrible.
But
Terrible.
but he got back in town. We made up for it. We reached out to everybody. We were able to have him back on, and so you missed all that.
Yeah.
You don't think that
You missed all.
he sabotaged it, so we appreciate and like him even more,
Right.
and all that he does. So he wanted to make it seem hard when he pushes his buttons and makes sound effects, and he wants us to think we can't do it. I thought we could
man.
do it. Maybe we get another
That's
chance.
true. See, if Aaron was there at the time,
This is
then
pre-Aaron.
This is
We
pre-Aaron.
wouldn't have
This
these problems.
See, we wouldn't have these problems. You know what I'm saying? And so, but even with that, I think what was super cool is we had everybody come back out. And, thank goodness you missed all that. You missed all that.
Yeah.
But what was super fun was we moved here, and what we did see from the beginning of the year till now, we want to thank you guys, our audience, because we went from, at the end of the year, where were we, Drew? Like somewhere around like 30,000?
Yeah, just watching the progression. We started out from literally zero first podcast. I think maybe Hampton, Milton's mom, myself. We were watching.
I watched 5
Shout
times.
out to Milton's mom.
That's right.
Shout out to mom. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
I think she may have been the first who wasn't in this room. She may have been the first viewer. I think she was there when it
Yes,
was live.
my mom my mom watched it. So shout out to moms.
as I've got this pulled up here, as of last month, we have 95,623 viewers.
Wow.
It's almost 100K for that.
Almost
for that
100K. So if
episode.
we start doing math, we're going to be close to 1 million viewers this year. We're close to 1 million viewers this year.
Even if it goes down a bit, but if it keeps going up, we're going
to be doubling that. And so that success is due to a good marketing company that just so happened to produce this podcast. So, go holler at Bespoke Marketing and they will meet your needs. Their link is in the description too. And I think they're a really great partner. And that's how this success has come about. First, we had first we had Arby's, but then we had happy hours.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, right? But then we started having Bespoke coming along, and you guys were about at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so the good people over at Kentucky Private Lending really help us out. You want to give some shout outs?
Yeah, for sure. From the Kentucky Private Lending side, your mention of Aaron holding it all together. For our team, that would be Miss Krista Cox.
Krista is amazing. I love her to death.
You all know Krista. She was actually our first employee, and she's been a godsend for our team. And even recently, just hired a second processor, Judy Meck, and she's been a rock star in her own right. So shout out to those two, because without them, I wouldn't be able to come sit here and talk with you guys and have a good time and spread the good word, because they're back at the office keeping our machine rolling there.
Doing the loans, and you got to head out and do another loan or meeting here shortly. So
that's right.
So we want to thank you for joining us, and we want you to join the Investor Tribe. We want you to join the Investor Tribe. There's a lot of perks to membership, has its privileges, right? And so it's so important. Become a Circle member for free today. Go to invtribe.com. That's invtribe.com. And I'm Milton Ali.
And I'm Hampton Scurlock.
And we'll catch you on the flip side of the Investor Tribe.
The Investor Tribe podcast is brought to you by the Investor Tribe, all rights reserved, featuring Hampton Scurlock and Milton Aldi, executive producer Drew Cookenmaster, produced and distributed by Bespoke Marketing.